today. Mark Dondero, Joe Murray, Patriots, big dramatic win in Game 2 of the preseason at Gillette Stadium, 24-21. Finishing up the week in style against the Philadelphia Eagles, joint practices, and then the game. And Joe Murray, I wish there was a live feed during the end of the game, because Joe Murray, the jaw dropped, and man, was he impressed with that final touchdown play from the Patriots. Joe, give me your thought on what you saw.
Well, let's start off by saying that this game was horrifically bad.
Well, yeah.
It was really painful to watch, and it took until the fourth quarter for me to watch the third-string quarterback punting during the game. I was wondering if he was going to kick a field goal at one point, and then throws an amazing pass to Nick DeGeneres. Yes, Nick DeGeneres of James Madison, who all night long I went, who's number 23?
So that's true. Joe all throughout the second half kept telling me, who is at 23? Why do I keep seeing him? And then it culminated in the long
I couldn't read his name. It's so little. Remember the little nameplates?
The tight letters.
So this reminds me of the old Patriots, something to look forward to late in a game to keep you watching. And it was Nick DeGeneres and Baron Morton, the rookie quarterback from Cincinnati, and we saw it. What a throw. And he burned the guy. I know it's late game, preseason, doesn't matter. Gave us some excitement on a night that really had none whatsoever.
Look, was it a good night for the team? I thought it was, again, not a negative outcome. Caleb Lomu, we could talk to Greg Bedard in a little bit and ask him what he thought. I thought was okay. At this point, I know he's a first-round pick. You just hope he can get on the field and play and contribute, even if it's in a depth role, in a backup role. Obviously, they're losing guys along the line, and the depth is a concern amongst offensive linemen. But they made some plays. One of the things. Look, I don't know what they're going to do, Joe, with the wide receivers. I think it's very interesting. You tell me what you think. Well, I think that right now, I feel like it's a good time to explore maybe trading Kyle Williams.
Okay, interesting you say that. And please, I want to put respect on Baron Morton's name. It was Texas Tech. I might have said Cincinnati, but I now can't remember what schools these guys actually go to anymore because they have so many. Anyways, receivers. Kyle Williams sometimes looks like he doesn't belong on the field, and then you see his explosiveness. You can't give up on that kid, especially in year 2. You can't do it.
I would give up on him.
Well, the thing is that, he's a second round pick, right?
I don't think he's
he was a third round pick. Excuse me. What are you going to get back? If you trade Booty, what are you going to get, a fifth?
No, that's different. Booty's made consistent plays in the biggest moments of big games.
But the value's fifth, or reportedly.
Well, I'm not talking about trading.
But what I'm saying is, what's Kyle Williams going to get you?
Well, I'm just saying you're probably going to have to move on from someone, aren't you? You can keep all those. Because I'll tell you what, Chisholm is an NFL player.
Yeah. I think they keep him. Chisholm again, another good night. And he is running routes. You can tell he's watching tape. Chisholm.
Yeah.
I think the reason to keep Chisholm around is because they think that he can help out on special teams, and they're going to need guys that you're going to have to, be inactive. There's just some of those guys. I wouldn't give up on Williams just yet. And, I think they were talking about this in pregame today. I think when you keep talking about receivers and how many, I think they're going to keep 7 and they're going to remove somewhere else.
Okay.
I think it's running back. I think they're going to keep 2 running backs. And whatever competition that they have right now, if those guys can get onto the practice squad, they'll just elevate one of those guys. So I think they're going to take away from a running back and keep an extra wide receiver. So, hey, listen, if you can get a proper return or even a player, I don't know, can you get a player swap for Kyle Williams? I just wouldn't give up on his ability right now.
I hear you. And I think it was Zoe during the midday this week made a good point. Despite the fact that maybe I have some reservations about Kyle Williams compete or, his ability to really impact games on a consistent basis, you didn't see flashes like this from Jalen Polk. You know what I mean? You didn't see flashes like this from Tyquan Thornton, even though those guys ended up busts. And I have my doubts about what Williams is able to do on a consistent basis in real NFL games. At least he's shown some flashes in the regular season last year and now in this preseason, touchdowns in consecutive games that we didn't see from other complete busts. So there is that. I'm just operating under the assumption that they are not going to be able to keep all these wide receivers, and you have to. And if I had to make a guess, I would guess, if I had to, predict or evaluate going forward, look into the crystal ball, however you want to say it, I would think that Efton Chisholm seems more like a reliable prospect than Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams just feels boomer bust. In those plays, kind of sum them up. Those big plays, big catch down the field, chunk yardage, blows by people, runs by. But then what's he do in the rest of the game? And it's a good thing to have, that explosive ability. But you need somebody that can, I'd be more comfortable with somebody that can get open on third down on a regular basis and impact the game more consistently. And I just think there's other guys that are going to do that. And if they have to get rid of somebody, he's got some good tape on film. He's fast. It might be, somebody you think about.
Fast guys. The Patriots love.
They love fast guys.
Bringing those guys in. I just think that they're going to do it in other areas, and Vrabel's backed them already, right? He's backed them in the last preseason game. He's backed them in practice.
Press conferences, he keeps mentioning his impact.
Yeah. That's funny. That's not what I really came away with today was trade Kyle Williams, because I actually thought he showed earlier on another pass down the sideline. He didn't come back for the ball. Mm-hmm. Same exact thing from a week ago. Get the penalty. He didn't do it.
Or at least just fight for the ball.
Yep. He also, and then the other one was
little slant over the middle.
The guy almost stepped in front of him. He's got to go towards the ball.
Okay.
Like that should have been picked, by the way. But then he makes the great play.
It's a great play.
He runs good routes.
Okay.
And he's fast. Just don't think they're ready to give up on a guy like that. And I don't even know what the return would be. Like the booty thing's interesting because the Texans called. They need an outside guy. They just lost Higgins for the year. Nico Harrison, he's coming off.
They just signed a couple guys.
Yeah, they brought in Zay Jones.
Yeah,
is who they brought in. I don't know. I think the Pats right now, I think they like what Booty is. And
my point is, who is going to play? There's too many receivers, Joe. Yeah. They can't all play.
Yeah,
I mean, Brown's going to play. Right, you're
probably.
Is Booty going to play? Is Douglas going to play? Douglas isn't even on the field in these games, which surprises me.
He's still the guy I would move.
Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's your guy that you'd move.
Yeah, just for every year we hear how great Pop Douglas is.
No, I'm with you.
And he's a gadget guy. I know he can make plays.
Yeah.
But I'd rather keep four guys that I know can play, and they're not probably going to bring this is what I mean. They're not going to have a third tight end probably.
No.
And they're not going to have a third running back.
Okay.
So they're probably going to keep 7 wide receivers.
Which, by the way, I would agree with. If you've got wide receivers that you think can play and are good contributors or potential contributors, keep them. Don't force a third tight end, some blocking tight end. You can find that whenever you need it. Or I like what you said about the running back. Just put JaMychal Hayes or whoever it is on the practice squad. And if you need a running back, elevate him. And let him do his thing.
Yeah, Hassan Haskins. Yeah. He actually ran the ball pretty well
Larison,
tonight.
He had a good 4th down run.
Yeah. But that's what you do.
That's what you do.
You sneak one of those guys, or you find a guy that can run, and you just activate him on the game day. You don't need that third. That third running back is obsolete. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. 617-779-0985. Patriots win at 24-21. Big come-from-behind win in the preseason game, but no starters playing. We're going to get into that. We'll take your calls. We'll hear from Mike Vrabel. But first, Joe Murray has an update. We're going to get some headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Patriots get their first win of the preseason with a 24-21 win over the Eagles. They got a couple of touchdowns.
those few things that those lulls or those naps that we talked about. But I felt like we really competed. The guys that were there tonight in the game competed in the second half, and I think that's probably the thing that I'll take away for the last 3 or 4 days was just the way that they competed and fed off each other and made some plays and gave up a few, and then we're able to come back there at the end and score, and then obviously end the game on defense.
Like along those lines, just with everything you guys were able to do, how important is that just for everyone to kind of feel good about it, what you put in, the work you put in from the ones all the way down to what you saw at the end of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously we always want to win. We want to win. We want to compete. But it was the competing and the fighting through some adversity and things that I needed to see from some young guys that, really needed to show it pretty quickly.
Mike, just on Baron Morton, when did you guys know he could punt, and what went into that decision, and what did you think of his performance?
Well, I just assume all the quarterbacks, they do their little punt thing and see how close they can get it to the goal line. So I figured he could punt. Bryce wasn't feeling great after the first 2 punts, so I figured instead of risking anything there with Bryce or with Andy, that Baron was able to get us out of there.
Mike, we didn't see Trevion, Byard, and Raridan during pregame warm-ups. Are those injury situations?
I would say that those are individual situations that kept them out of the pregame warm-up.
Hi, Mike. With Marcus Bryant, we saw him leave the game early, and you guys immediately ruled him out. Do you have any update on him?
So don't waste your question on an injury question. I just think he just got rolled up on. I think it'll be a lower leg injury, but I don't know to what extent. That's kind of what happens sometimes, and those inside plays. So we'll have to just take a look and see where he's at, but I won't know anything right now.
Mike, we saw a lot of Jam Miller and Lane Larison tonight. Has anyone a little further down the depth chart past Trevion and Ramondre really distinguished themselves when you look for a number 3 running back to this point in the summer?
One more time, Chris. Just looking at the third running back?
Yeah, the third running back. Has anyone really kind of popped? Anyone kind of distinguished themselves?
I mean, I felt like Lance certainly had a good performance, a gritty, tough performance tonight, and did some really good things. It's 4th and 1, and he gets hit behind the line of scrimmage and finds a way to, get the first down. And then we've got, another long pass, and, he makes, and then he's able to break a couple tackles there and third down when we needed it at the end of the game. So did some good things.
Mike, I know you don't have the benefit of looking at the tape, but just your thoughts on maybe where Gabe Akis is at this point. And I don't know if you saw anything tonight.
I think just still inconsistent. I think that, the effort is certainly there. The willingness, he's a very coachable player. We're just putting a lot on him right now as far as special teams and covering kicks and playing on kick return. We have to be able to see what he can do and what we feel like we can count on when a regular season comes. And I think he'll just continue to improve because he has that type of attitude and he's willing. And, I know he'll get back to work, real quick.
Mike, toward the end of the first quarter, you called a timeout and you had a conversation with your defensive unit on the side. So what did you see at that moment made you feel like a conversation was needed?
I saw dog defense, and I wanted to talk to him. And I figured that if I didn't call a timeout, that I wouldn't be able to get what I wanted to say off my chest.
Mike Reese in the back. Mike, in the big picture, how important is it to you for Drake and some of the starters to play in the final preseason game, the field a game, or is the joint practices that you've experienced lessen the need for that?
I don't think we have a very deep team, Mike, so I think we have to make sure that we're preparing our football team and that we're doing everything that we can to keep our best players available. And if that means playing Thursday as part of preparation, then that's what we'll do. Have not made that decision yet, but I would say that that's something that I'm confident in with where we're set up currently.
Mike, how are you weighing the joint practice reps specifically for the wide receivers versus what some guys like Kyle Williams are doing in the preseason games?
Well, I think that's a great question. The guys that, just want to give Kyle as many opportunities to continue to improve and do the things that, we've asked him to improve on and he knows he needs to improve on. And I love his ability outside the numbers to be able to stretch the field. And we wanted to give him some more opportunities to be able to do that, as well as, work on some of the stuff, that Todd and Josh have him, trying to improve on, And so, the guys that, played or didn't play, I felt like they got a lot of work, and Kyle probably needed a little bit more work. And it was good to see Chiz come out tonight and do some things and just try to be able to evaluate everybody as we look to build this roster.
Hey, Mike, what do you think you need to learn over the next 5 days? And within that, what can you learn about your team?
I think we just have to continue to not make the same mistakes twice. As far as some of the younger guys, we need to make new mistakes, because you need to be able to count on some of these guys when we put the roster together to be able to contribute and as we define their roles. So, I think that's probably the first thing. And then we'll have practice, and then we'll have another game on Thursday. We got, 2 really good days lined up, I think, on Monday and Tuesday. And then we'll travel and we'll play in Cleveland. So, those are opportunities. And then, the schedule gets a little funky, and, we'll have to be ready to go.
You mentioned you wanted to see some of the younger players, rookies, fight through adversity. What specifically are you looking for, and how important is that in building, their character and who they will be as individuals moving forward?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of ebbs and flows of a professional football game, and how can you handle making a mistake? How can you handle getting blocked? How can you handle being, having a good play and then coming back and be able to do it again? And, how they bounce back, how they handle different situations, what they do in live action, I think is really critical. Thanks, guys.
All right. That was Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel after a 24-21 win. Some interesting commentary there, Joe, from Mike Vrabel. We'll get to that. We're going to get to your call, 617-779-0985. That's all coming up next on the Shaws and Star Market Patriots postgame show on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Ready, set, summer with the Honda Summer Event. With impressive efficiency and sport tunes.
PatriotsPostgame.org. And let's go to the calls, shall we, Joe? We'll start it off with Carl, who's in Westfield. Carl, how are you?
Well, I'm happy with Mark Zangaro and the brain, Joe. I'm out of the political circus into the only real form of talk and enjoyment. And to get right to the point, Mark, you bring up the key point about not thinking clearly in critical situations. And Joe mentioned he's not quite ready to throw him away. And I thought right down the middle of your point is both right. And his ability to run and explode and score is rare. You can teach him how to be undumb, but you can't teach him how to run and explode like that. So Joe is right. Keep him. And Mark says, watch him. And here's another quick comment I want to get. When the coach says he wants to get that off his chest, I don't even know what the comment and question was. What he did last year and took that team from and turned it into, it's remarkable, and nothing but praise and joy and no pressure. And to end the point, Mark, I heard last year Joe was stressing on the roof with no parachute in tow, and you showed up and yelled, on your mark, it said go. Tell me it's not true, and happy Patriots season.
All right. Thanks, Carl. Look, would I be excited for them to move on from Kyle Williams? Not necessarily, no. If you're in win now mode, and look, I don't know who else you'd want to move on from. Booty makes plays. I want guys that can make plays, especially if you're talking about a team. Joe, we've basically both you and I have decided they're AFC Championship or bust. So I want, with that being the case, I want them to keep guys that are proven playmakers. And if Booty is that, I don't want Booty traded. Efton Chisholm's not going to get you anything. And I think that's worth investigating further. I think Kyle Williams has popped to the level that you can get another fast guy. You can find another receiver that can run in the draft, hopefully. He's popped to the level you could maybe dangle him out there for a trade and get something for him, or a player. I like the player idea better, but that's it. It's not like I'm angry at Kyle Williams and want him traded or dealt like right now. I'm just saying if you have to move someone, I'd rather not move the guy that's a proven playmaker to this point.
That's fine. Why did Matt Collins play last week and this week no one else did? No veteran did.
I don't know.
What's all that about? And I know that Hollins has no guaranteed money because he got last year at the end of the year. Remember, he got hurt and he couldn't get the incentives, so they gave him money last year. So I'm just curious why he played last week and no other veteran played.
Booty got a couple snaps.
Booty did play tonight? I didn't see that.
Last week.
Last week, yeah.
He got a couple snaps and then was out.
But today, no one. Other veteran.
No. Huh. I don't know. That's a guy I wouldn't get rid of, though.
Following Mac. I don't want to get rid of Mac Collins
because he's almost a de facto third tight end if you want him to be one. And he's made plays in the biggest moments. This team is not building for the future. I mean, they're trying to win right here and now. So those players, I'm not trying to. I mean, you have to do what you have to do, but I'm not trying to move guys that made big catches in AFC Championship games right now.
Just bringing it up, I thought.
Yeah.
I still don't know why he played.
Tom's in the Bay Area. Hey, Tom.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Love listening to you guys after Pat's games.
Thanks.
I think the upside with Kyle Williams is the speed. When the ball's in his hands, it's electric. He can make plays. And with Booty, you have A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs there that play the same position as Booty. So that's what makes him the more expendable player, because Kyle can give you that explosiveness down the field with his speed that Booty doesn't. And the guys we brought in just replace Booty. And he's going to be expendable at the end of the year anyways. Williams has 3 more years on his deal. I think that's what the coaching staff and front office see.
All right, that's a good. Thanks for the call, Tom. That's a good point. The only problem with that, Joe, I haven't seen Romeo Doubs make any plays for the New England Patriots. Now, in theory, it should work out. I think it'll work out. But I'm just saying I've seen Booty do it in the big moments, in the playoffs, in the elements, in the weather. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. So I'm uncomfortable
I would tell you.
Moving on.
I would tell you I've witnessed Romeo Dobbs doing it in the same conditions.
Okay.
With more of a diverse group.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know if Dobbs is a 1, but he's done it with guys like, Wicks was a part of the raw. Like, think of all the wide receivers he played with and still had 70, 80 catches a year.
Sure. Reed, Wicks.
My biggest thing is Brown and Dobbs, though. They have the best separation rate in football. They're both in the top 5.
Okay.
That's something Booty doesn't have.
No. But he makes contested catches.
The only reason why Booty's being considered is, yes, it's a numbers game, but B, he has a contract that he wants an extension. Well, if he can't be on the field as many snaps as he was a year ago, it's going to hurt his value.
Look,
you don't want to upset players not getting the ball either.
Sure, all fair, and I would love more than anyone to see Kyle Williams turn into Deshaun Jackson or somebody like that. A burner that Jackson back in the day was really. Isn't that all he really did? He just went deep and was really good, and he could get open. It would. Let Michael Vick throw it 1,000,000 yards and he'd run under it and do all that. If Williams can turn into that, that'd be a great piece for this team, especially if you have Brown and Dobbs and Hollins and Douglas in the middle of the field and doing all these things. If you could get a deep threat like that, I'd love to see it. But I'm just not, we'll have to wait for it to actually play out. Joe's in Revere. Hey, Joe.
Hey, how you doing? Nothing better than watching a home game and they win in the last minute. Isn't that great?
It's great.
Even though it's preseason, I still got all excited. It's crazy. Just a little concerned. I know it's preseason, guys, but the running. Who was the lead rusher tonight? Was it the quarterback?
Might have been DeVito after that 39-yard run.
Like, I've watched both games. I named my kid Brady. I'm a Pats fan, but hey, look, I'm a little concerned about the running game. Pass protection, all right, it's okay. And I know the big guys ain't in there, but, And I did have a question, if you could answer it, please.
Yes.
Number 50, 10 minutes left, second quarter. Uncontested to the quarterback. He chips him. The guy falls down. They call a...
Roughing the passer, yep.
Roughing the passer, right? 3 plays later, uncontested. 6, 7 steps, he wraps him around the waist and pulls him down, and it's not roughing the passer. So are you not allowed to hit him, but you're allowed to chip him, but hit him? Or do you know the rule on that? Like, they changed it, they said?
Joe, you want to take the rule question? Look.
I don't know. Gabe Akis.
I thought that was a roughing the passer, what Akis did.
Gabe Akis is, I don't think he's been good.
I'm not as down as you are.
I see you can see his speed. And
yeah.
When he figures it out, and maybe that's because he didn't have a preseason at all. Didn't even have off-season program, any of that. But yeah, he's being left on an island with no scheme, and I sometimes see good things. But I see him overrun constantly. And, there was a couple of plays on the goal line. The first drive tonight, that defense, they got smoked. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody saw that, something that Mike Vrabel said that we can get into. I think they got some depth issues on both sides of the offensive and defensive line.
And we can ask Greg Bedard that question. He'll join us around 11:20. Let's get one more quick call in here before we have to go to the top of the hour. John's in Medford. Hey, John.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm looking at this wide receiver room. It's stacked for the first time in a long time, I feel. Obviously, Drake May is going to elevate a lot of these guys. I think A.J. Brown, Romeo Dobbs, Mac Hollins are locks. And then I'm looking at the rest of these guys, and I think that Efton Chisholm and Pop Douglas, only one of those guys is going to make it. They seem sort of redundant. They seem sort of similar. I kind of lean towards Efton Chisholm. I feel like Vrabel likes him. He's got that special teams ability. He's a gritty player. And then you're left with Kyle Williams and Booty. And I heard you, man. Booty's been performing, and I think you got to lean that way. I don't know that we're going to carry 6, 7 wide receivers. Maybe they do. But, I think Pop Douglas is actually the odd man out here. And I know they've been high on him, but they haven't been showcasing him. And he hasn't really popped the past couple of years. I feel like Efton Chisholm is actually going to carve out a role for himself. What do you guys think?
That's good analysis there, John. I'm in agreement with the caller, and unfortunately, nobody has been the bigger Pop Douglas supporter than me. But, Joe, I feel like last year was his time. And I know he made the play in the Texans game. That was a great run and catch in the touchdown. I felt like last year was his time to really assert himself into this lineup and make some plays that made us all say, oh, there it is. That's the guy. That's right. Didn't happen, really.
Yeah, if training camp's a competition, he's done nothing to lose his job. But I'm wondering if there's value. Like, if you put Kyle Williams, Kayshon Boutte, and Pop Douglas together, you're probably going to get almost the same return on all the guys. Yeah. Because Boutte's the better, probably of the three, but they're all similar return, which is why you should keep the guy.
And I think Chisholm can play NFL football. And I would not, if I'm just wondering, if I'm Mike Vrabel, if you gave Efton Chisholm, and I know he's not the same age or whatever, he hasn't been around as long, if you gave Efton Chisholm the same opportunities that Pop Douglas has gotten thus far, would he have more consistent production? I think he might.
Yeah.
I think he might.
I mean, I think one's a
Douglas
better
has done
athlete.
some things.
Yeah.
Douglas is a better athlete. But last year, Joe, was his moment to pop. And it just didn't happen. It wasn't useless. It wasn't terrible. It just didn't happen the way I thought it would have happened. All right. We're late. We're going to get a quick headlines from Joe. We're going to get to Greg Bedard around 11:20. But before we do all that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. WBZ-FM at HD Boston 98.5 The Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines.
Patriots winners tonight, 24-21 over the Eagles. Well, they got touchdown passes. Tommy DeVito to Kyle Williams. And then Baron Morton to Nick DeJaneiro. Yes. James Madison product with a touchdown. The go-ahead score. Lan Larison had a rushing touchdown in this one. And that's it. The final preseason game will be on Thursday night when they travel to Cleveland. Some injury notes. Marcus Bryant left the game. Looks like it was an ankle injury. And there's your injury update. The Red Sox, they trailed 2-0 in the bottom of the ninth inning. They rallied back to tie the game. Nick Sogard with an RBI single. And then Wilyer Abreu sent everyone home. They win 3-2 tonight. They'll wrap up their series looking to sweep the Giants tomorrow. Headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit knowingoilchange.com for 15% off your next drive through oil change and Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Joe Murray. More of the Shaws and Star Market Patriots postgame shows after this on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports on Patriots Radio Network.
There are trucks, and then there's the 2026 GMC Sierra. It's the truck. We are.
to start out. So I hear he's doing better though. So thoughts and prayers with him and his family. So yeah.
Just you said that you would like to start a little quicker, cut the penalty, whatever. What did you think of that first half, and what did you think of your game tonight with the offense?
Definitely some of the same stuff again. Just beating ourselves, putting ourselves in tough situations. Like 2nd and 10, it's not ideal. So still just trying to nip those little things in the butt and get better. But you can see the times where we're clicking, we're rolling. So just got to eliminate those negatives to get us rolling faster.
Tommy, the touchdown pass, can you take us through it and what you saw from Kyle?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, basically 3 goes, 1 down the seam, 2 on the outside. The coverage they played put an isolation on Kyle, so hold the safety, let him roll, had great protection, shoot, throw it out there, hit him, let him do the rest.
You kind of describe Kyle and what you've seen of him since you joined the team, and as he grows, seems like he's getting better, running routes and what have you. What do you like about him as a player?
Twitchy, super twitchy. I mean, you can see that anytime anybody wants to come down and press him, it's like good luck. You see that last week when the dude pressed him, went through the fade ball. His release package off the line is second to none. It's special, and I know he's still growing as a player with everything else, but it's awesome to see that and able to play fast and use his speed and play big and do all the great things he's been doing.
And how about watching Barron at the end of the game? I know you have the blender in the quarterback room, but does that get put away this week after what you saw?
Oh, he certainly was not in the blender. That was awesome to see. I was so happy for him. First NFL touchdown. I know it's preseason, but first passing touchdown is big. Something he'll remember forever. So that was special. But the way he just operated drives, I think he had 2 12-play drives that ended up in touchdowns. 12-play drives are not something easy to overcome and to accomplish and just sustain throughout the field and score, let alone once but twice. So testament to him and pushing the guys up front and the group around him and finding a way to score.
Tommy, we saw you moving around in the pocket a lot tonight, whether it was to run or just kind of resetting the throw. In these practices where you can't get hit, how do you work on that? Or is this kind of the setting where that's something that you're really focused on?
This is the setting to focus on him because, like you said, in practice, dudes will just run by you. You always get into the argument with the defense. Was it a sack? Was it not a sack? You really don't know until it comes up in game situations. So this is the perfect time for that.
It felt like this week was kind of a step forward for you from last week. Did you feel that as well, just in terms of the totality of your game tonight, and how comfortable do you feel in your role with this team right now?
For sure. Yeah, I feel comfortable. Definitely, like I've always said, the more reps, the better. And obviously game reps are even better because, like you just said, that's the time where you can get hit. And, you like to say that everybody plays the same as they do in practice, but when those live bullets are flying, things change a little bit. So just being able to get comfortable with the guys and everybody around me and just keeping to put our best foot forward. So I think that, like I said, the 2 joint practices definitely helped coming into this, and just the more competitive periods that we have for myself, the better.
Tommy, from your point of view, how difficult would you say the wide receivers are making the upcoming roster decision, for the coaching staff in terms of who makes the 53?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best possible situation you can ask for an organization, right? To have so many options where you have to make hard decisions like that. But again, that's just testament to the coaching and to the guys that just coming in every day, putting their hard hats on and working and not worrying too much about what that day is like, because I've been on the other end of that day multiple times. Been cut twice, stayed on once. So I've been there, but, the same thing I tell them, just keep your head down and work. Everything will handle itself. But just enjoy the process, enjoy why you're here. So those guys have been doing it to the fullest. They've been staying late, especially the rookies have been staying late, getting in early, making sure they're on top of all their stuff, and it showed tonight. Good. Thank you, guys.
All right, that was Patriots quarterback Tommy DeVito. DeVito tonight. Nice little game.
Is there a backup problem?
Joe, I don't think there is. I think Tommy DeVito is a backup quarterback, and I'd be totally comfortable. He's got some experience in the NFL. He's got a little athletic kick to him. 151, touchdown, no interceptions. Had the 36-yard run, 39-yard, over 35-yard run. Showed some wheels. I was fine with it. I'm okay with it.
I will say the touchdown pass to Williams, very similar to the Barron to De Janeiro. Both run well, good throws, and I wonder if it was schemed up that way. But I thought DeVito was better today than last week, but he should have had 2 picks.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's not amazing.
Let's just say this. Yeah, I think he's fine. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're wondering about maybe a veteran who got released. If they, you know what I'm saying? Yes. I just wonder if maybe they would still think that.
And that would be okay with me. It's not like I'm married to this situation. I just think, based on what I know, I like the fact that he's had some experience in the league. I think the comp, and this is going to sound ridiculous, the comp to Drake May, stylistically, it fits.
Move.
Right.
They both move. Yeah.
They can both throw it. They can both move around. It's a similar type of style of play. Obviously, May's way better, but it's similar. So I think that works. He's had some experience. He's been in a big market. I kind of like that. I think he'd be fine as the backup quarterback until I.
Really, if Drake May goes down, there's a problem.
There's a problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're talking about if he got concussed for a minute, or for the end, or for the rest of a game, could DeVito come in and be serviceable?
Yeah, and he's done it with the Giants.
All right, we're gonna go to a break. We're gonna get to Greg Bedard. Greg Bedard will join us after the break here. 24-21. Patriots win. It's the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Apex Entertainment in Marlboro is now over 100,000 square feet of pure fun. Hey, this is New England kicker Andy Borg.
I think Mike Vrabel and the Patriots might have to start considering calling drains by James because their gaps are not they're not good.
You didn't like okay, we got to unclog some of the gaps. I guess we'll start there. What was your biggest, not takeaway, but what did you not like tonight that made you make a comment like that to lead off this segment?
Well, I think I'm a lot like I had the same opinion as Mike Vrabel. I'm not sure exactly like what we're allowed to say on the air when he was asked about the timeout that he took when the Eagles were running right through his defense and would go on to score a touchdown that drive, and he basically said the defense was dog doo-doo, and he wanted to voice that to them. And I would say the same thing about the Patriots' offensive line for much of the first half. I just think the Patriots looked terrible in the first half, backups against backups, and maybe that's part of the reason that Vrabel said his other big statement in his post-game press conference, which was that they don't have a very deep team, and which is true. It's all facts. It's better than where they were last year, but they're still building this program up from the bottom where it was in the Gerard Mayo 1 year era, and I thought they got worked, but it was good to see them come out. Obviously, some words were said at halftime and calling out some people, and I thought it was much better in the second half, especially once it got to Patriots backups against the Eagles' third stringer. So not a very good first half, not a good showing for the depth, but it got better.
Okay, so let me just follow up on that, Greg, because obviously that was one of the big, if not the biggest statement of the post-game press conference, though we don't have a very deep team. Is that Mike Vrabel calling out someone specifically? Or, whose fault is that if you don't have a very deep team?
Who's to blame is Bill Belichick and whatever happened during Gerard Mayo's year, that Elliott Wolf just screwed the pooch on that draft, and that's where the Patriots are right now. And I think they've done a good job in 2 years of trying to do the best that they can to rectify that, but it's a fact of where they are at this point in time after Bill Belichick's personnel skills completely eroded towards the end of his tenure here, and Elliott Wolf, for whatever reason, and different people will tell you different things, like he had to help Gerard Mayo too much and couldn't really do his job to the full extent, all that kind of stuff. But it just wasn't good enough, and they're still trying to get there. They're inching there, but they're in the midst of a multi-year rebuild, and luckily they're being successful at the same time.
Greg, which side of the ball did you feel better about tonight, the defensive line or the offensive line?
In this game, I think in this game, I guess I would say the defensive line. I don't know. It's close. I thought you were, Joe, when you asked me, I thought you were more going towards where the team is right now, not this game, but I'm definitely more spooked about the Patriots defense at this point in time, especially, depending on whether Christian Gonzalez is out there, because I think, they're a different defense when he's out there. I feel fine about the Patriots offense. I thought they had a good showing this week against the Eagles, and it sucks that Marcus Bryant went down today, but that's why you spent a first-round pick on Caleb Lomu, and you have some other options there. So definitely feel better about the offense and their depth than I do the defense and their depth.
Shaq Thompson and Daquan Jones took a visit this week. Are they these guys that they could bring in, considering they have relationships from the past with the coaching staff?
Yeah, I don't know where Shaq is at this point in time. He's definitely down towards the end. He's a far different player than he was in his heyday with the Panthers, where he used to be a safety and then he converted to a linebacker and he was awesome. Maybe he could help. I feel all right about what they have at linebacker right now. It's not great, but when you're, in the middle of a rebuilding mode with a team, not every place is going to be great. It's just not. And that's just something you have to live with and hope you can get by with it. I think that Daquan Jones is a guy that, after seeing what happened in this game and this week and this practice, and now it's two teams in a row, the Colts and the Eagles that sort of ran on the Patriots, I would be looking at Daquan Jones, bringing him in just to give you another option if you need to play big against somebody in the run game in a certain game. You would like to have that potential to go with, stick somebody big who's tough to block and needs to be double teamed in between Christian Barmore and Milton Williams. Right now, they don't really have that guy. Corey Durden's a nice player, and I like him, but he's just not that player yet. He's not Tonga.
Okay. I'm going to give you two names, Greg, and I want you to tell me which player you think has been better through the two preseason games. Caleb Lomu or Gabe Akis?
Caleb Lomu. It's close. I don't think Gabe Akis has done much of anything. Now, he did have, I think, 2 hits on the quarterback tonight, maybe one pressure. I think his one pressure came because he was unblocked. I mean, he was unblocked once and unloaded on Andy Dalton, got a personal foul penalty. Then he was unblocked on the next play and did get a hit on him, which was nice. But I don't really care what you do when you're not blocked. I care what you do when there's somebody in front of you. And to this point, he hasn't really shown a whole lot. That's fine. I'm not, panicked. We know he started late with this whole health situation. And you're hoping he gets there by the second half of the season, that he can contribute as a pass rusher. Lomu, I thought, showed a lot of improvement in this game. Wasn't perfect. He gave up a sack. He had some other problematic reps, but I thought he was much better this week on the left side, which is probably why because he's played more there. He has more experience there than he was on the right side in the game previously. And so I thought Lomu did a better job improving week to week than Akis did.
Okay, that's interesting. It's good news for the line, but then I don't know, the defensive line. Obviously, Mike Vrabel's comments combined with what Greg's saying, leaves me more concerned than I guess I was an hour and a half ago. More from Greg when we get back. Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do that, let's get some headlines and an update from Joe Murray.
Sports Hub headlines.
Patriots 24-21 winners over the Eagles tonight. They got a go-ahead touchdown from Baron Morton, who threw it to Nick DeGennaro. Yes, those are the names that you're hearing in this headline right now. Unlike Tommy DeVito, who threw a touchdown pass to Kyle Williams in this game. So they're 1-0-1 in
receivers. A nice moment once again for Kyle Williams. I thought Efton Chisholm made some plays tonight. I'm just curious, what is your overall perspective on the receivers? And is there an odd man out? And, what do you expect them to do? Because it does seem very deep with a lot of capable players. How do you expect the Patriots to manage this situation?
Well, I'd term it this way, and I heard a lot of people sort of using the phrase like an embarrassment of riches. Like, I don't know if I would go that far with the Patriots receivers room. I mean, I think they have some good players. I think they have some different players, which is good. I thought the most newsworthy thing to me on the receiver front was that Kayshon Boutte didn't play tonight. I went into this game today thinking, this would be a nice game to showcase him in case you wanted to trade him with some of the injuries that were going around the league. And to hear Zolak say in the pregame show that Boutte wasn't going to play, sent me texting people in the organization wondering why. And basically the feedback I got was because he doesn't need to. And, they didn't really expound on that, but that sort of tells me, at least for now, that they're not showing a lot of interest in trading him. So, now what do you do? But I think that A.J. Brown, Romeo Doubs, Demario Douglas, Mac Hollins are all definitely on the team. And then Boutte is probably on the team. Maybe if somebody, maybe the reason why they kept him out is to play hard to get. Maybe they're on the phone with somebody and they're not giving enough, and they're like, you know what, we're going to show that we're going to keep him. And maybe that gets them to give up more. I don't know. And then we're talking about, who, like Efton Chisholm. I think he's a good player. I think he's better than a lot of people want to give him credit for. Now, I'm not saying he's Wes Welker or Julian Edelman or anything like that, but even tonight, he had that play, probably his biggest play of the game, where he sort of went out of bounds, and he took a hit before he went out of bounds. And he took the hit, and he didn't go down. Like, he stayed on his feet. And you remember last year in the preseason, Vrabel kept remarking about Chisholm's play strength? Mm-hmm. I think that's only increased, and I think it's a real factor. That's what sort of differentiates him from, some, training camp flavor of the month. Like, I think physically he's an NFL player. Now, you wish he was quicker or straight out faster, but he's not. But he has I think he has a lot of value. It's just the question of, do you think he would get claimed? If he did get claimed, would you, cry yourself to sleep at night? I don't know. But keeping 7 receivers is not something I'm interested in, but we'll have to see how that goes down.
Greg, I'm only asking this question because we just watched a preseason game. I don't know if I'm sold on Tommy DeVito as the backup. Are the Patriots, and are you?
It's a good question. I have not asked about that. I figured I'd let the preseason play out a little bit more. I have a feeling this is probably the last we're going to see of DeVito. I would say probably Morton's going to play the whole 3rd preseason game. That's just a guess. Where I'm at, because I did hear you talking about this before I came on.
Yeah, I just think that he had the play, the touchdown of Williams was great. I just don't know if he's a pocket guy, and I think he needs to be on the move a little bit to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, it's valid, Joe. I feel good about DeVito. I mean, what I've seen over the course of the whole summer, and his ability to operate this offense, and I do think that once we get to the regular season, I do think that you're going to see Drake on the move a lot more, and I do think that favors DeVito. The question in my mind is, could Morton get to the point where the Patriots, they signed DeVito to a contract extension. Not that it's big money or anything like that, but I don't think that Morton can overtake him for the backup job. I don't know if they'd be interested in anybody else anywhere. I mean, maybe Case Keenum, who, I think has some experience in this offense and might be the odd man out, wherever the heck he is these days. I feel good about DeVito and where he is. I think my impression is that the organization feels the same way, but that's one of the questions I'll try to find an answer to over the course of the next week.
Greg, I'm going to speak for myself here. I'm uncomfortable with the idea that none of the starters predominantly are going to play on the field in a preseason game, and then they're just going to get out there in Seattle, scene of the crime of the Super Bowl, and Drake May is going to take the under center, crowd yelling, everything going on. Are you okay with that? Is that the right move, or is that just the way the NFL is nowadays? Because I'd like for Drake May to get a series or two in the preseason when you could actually get hit or tackled.
I'm okay with it, Mark. I would have, if I was in charge of the Patriots, and of course nobody wishes that. Just for the home fans and the season ticket holders who pay the same prices no matter what, I would have gotten these guys dressed up, work them out, get them into a lather, and let them go out for one series. I don't care if Drake May hands off 3 times, but I would have liked to have seen that. But as far as them doing real action on the field, no, because I don't care, because there is some benefit in being hit. I do think outside of the quarterbacks, there is the threat of hit. They thump in practices. The Eagles practice got a little bit physical. I don't think they're going from playing flag football to the belly of the beast against the Seahawks at Lumen Field. I don't think that's the case. Mm-hmm. Both teams are sort of in the same. I was trying to call up how much Sam Darnold has played in this preseason. I know that the Seahawks have been holding a bunch of people out. They just only had the one joint practice with the Titans yesterday. So they will play tomorrow. I think that's right. I'm okay with it. It's just the way the NFL is now. And then, Mark, you also have to look at it this way, and I think it's more so now than when Bill Belichick was in charge, with the 17 games and all that and what they do in the preseason and how they practice now. The first 4 or 5 weeks are, extended they're the real preseason. And, that's just the way the NFL is right now, and we're just going to have to live with it.
Greg Elliott Wolf was on the television broadcast tonight. Quote, each side is trying to do what's right for them. Just went on to say he's still going to talk to his representation about getting a deal done. What does each side, what are they trying to do? What's best for each side in this situation?
If I had to guess, Joe, and Elliott terming that way basically tells me that they're pretty far apart, and to this point, neither side has budged. What's interesting is that I thought coming into today, I had the thought yesterday, and I was texting some people in the Patriots today, just seeing if there was the outside chance, because last home preseason game, I've seen it happen before, where all of a sudden, in the afternoon, it leaks that they've reached a contract extension, and then you get the Steve Burton interviewing Christian Gonzalez on the sideline. Everybody's happy. Everybody's in a good place. I wonder if there was a chance of that today. And, talking to people in the organization, basically the response was, no, that's not going to happen, which is further evidence to me that they're pretty far apart. If I had to guess on where the negotiation stands, I think Gonzalez probably is asking for the Witherspoon deal plus a little bit more in true guaranteed money in the future years. Witherspoon didn't get any guaranteed money really in the future years. It's basically a 2-year deal, and then it's year to year. Gonzalez is probably asking for more. And I think we talked about this last time. The first 2 years, the jump in money for Devin Witherspoon from, I think he was supposed to make $26 million, something like that, in the next 2 years, and now he's up to $59 million. That I knew that was going to cause sticker shock for the Crafts. And Gonzalez is supposed to make 21. Now he's supposed to go above Witherspoon, even more of a raise in the first 2 years of guaranteed money with no ability for the Patriots to get some of the money back if Gonzalez is hurt. I always thought that was going to be the sticky part in this negotiation. I'm starting to wonder, guys, are we going to get to the point, like, if this – so my next check mark is the Monday practice after cutdowns. I think that's the 30th or 31st. That's when you would like it done for the Seattle prep. If it goes longer than that, I wonder if we get in a situation where the Patriots give him a raise in the form of a signing bonus for 1 year to bring him up to speed for this year, and then they revisit it basically year to year after this. I wonder if we get to that point. And I think the Patriots might be just fine with that. I don't know.
Wow. I would be just fine with that, and I'm not sure why that hasn't happened to this point.
I know. I mean, I to me, that's sort of the middle ground. And so, Gonzalez is supposed to make $4 million, what have you. He's the next year is the 5th-year option at 18. So you give him a signing bonus, then you can spread it out over, the next year and what have you. I give him a signing bonus. I think they were probably eyeing anywhere from 15 to 20 million. Do that for this year. That's a huge raise over what, like, Trent McDuffie played for last year in his 4th year of the contract. The Crafts can say, well, we're being a lot more generous than the Chiefs were to Trent McDuffie. And then who knows? Maybe, Gonzalez becomes even more of a Patriots player and part of the program, and you want him here. Or, I don't know, is he hurt all year? Does he regress? Do you say, no, actually, I think we're going to trade him. And so that's what I would do. Just get it over with, give him a 1-year bump, and then see what happens in the future.
Okay, so this is still going on. I would have thought by now it was going to get taken care of, but Week 1 is rapidly approaching, and we'll see where this goes. Maybe we can revisit it on Thursday night after the 3rd preseason game. Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal joining us here on the Patriots Postgame Show. Greg, as always, thanks very much. Great stuff. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
All right, so that was Greg Bedard. Again, Greg Bedard brought to you by Best Auto Group. Looking for great deals on new Fords? Go to the Best Ford in Nashua, and online at the Best Ford.
We should pick up on that.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
That's not a... I don't. You said you'd like that. I don't know.
I would like that.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a Patriots deal. That is a Patriots deal.
We can get into that. We'll do that next. We'll do that when we get back. It's the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots Postgame Show on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports on Patriots Radio Network.
Every great drive starts with preparation. Make Valvoline Instant Oil Change your first stop before your next road trip.
there, but overall, to your point, Jones, Barmore, Milton, Williams are going to be, and then you got the ranked number 1 secondary in the league.
Especially if Gonzalez is out there and they're covering, you're not going to find opportunities to sack the quarterback, get pressure. I understand the concern when you look at the roster depth at that specific position, but I think they've got guys that can help cover that up. Mark is in Connecticut. Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I was also at the game tonight, and what was quite surprising to me, and I think Barth was pretty high on him, Lamb Larison. I actually have been a big Jam Miller from Alabama fan, but today we got to tip our hats off to Lamb Larison. I mean, his breaking tackles was great tonight. Just finding the holes, just going at it tonight. I mean, he was really impressive, and I just wanted to get your guys' take on him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy. There was a lot of fanfare around that pick. I think he was pretty accomplished at whatever school he went to, and people thought that was an interesting selection, especially as a running back. You can come in as an undrafted, wasn't Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis undrafted or a late round pick? I mean, you can do that as a running back and just kind of show up. If you got some heart and some skill and some vision, you can make it work. And, that's a guy. You saw Mike Vrabel clapping after that 4th down conversion where he gave that second effort. I'd be happy to put him on the practice squad and let him get called up in the event you had an injury.
No one's claiming Larison.
No, I'd be worth risking that.
The one thing I will say about Haskins, he played for Vrabel in the past, but he was doing kick return, kick off. That guy's Haskins.
Haskins, yeah.
So he knows he has to do some things to make the team. No, none of those guys, they're going to carry 2 running backs and elevate one. It just makes too much sense.
Yeah. I don't think.
Yeah, by the way, Larison does nice things. He's not explosive at all.
No.
You already have that with Chisholm. The thing is, even Bedard mentioned, he's slippery.
He's an NFL player.
I'm not trying to use the cliche of Edelman and Amendola. He's watching tape. He's watching those guys in this offense. But him ducking that guy on a tackle tonight.
That's Julian
exactly.
Edelman. Now, that's against a backup in August. But you got to start somewhere, and that was a play that Edelman used to make.
But he's never, ever been unproductive.
No.
Never. Whenever given, to your point, if they gave him the 6 attempts a game that they give Pop Douglas, they'd probably have the same production.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see not so much, who do they trade? Who do they cut? Who do they get? Whatever. But then how do they manage this group and who get? I'm really surprised, Joe, that Demario Douglas hasn't played in the preseason games. I thought he would have been a guy that would have been out there trying to prove or reestablish his spot, and just to make it easier on the coaching staff to say, yes, this is a guy we want to stay in business with. But he hasn't been out there.
Well, at this point, they have depth issues. I just don't think after talking this wide receiver thing out, I think that they're going to keep the 7 or trade Booty. That's it. I don't really think there's anything else besides that.
Okay. But even if they keep the 7 or whatever, how do they manage it? Is Douglas going to be on the field? Is he going to be?
Yeah, because they'll play special teams. I don't think Chisholm will, and I don't think Williams will.
Okay.
They'll be inactives.
It looks like they're going to try to give Williams opportunities to get deep. Drake May throws a great deep ball. Maybe that's another thing. Okay. We're going to get back. I want to get into the Gonzalez commentary. I feel like we disagree there, and we want to.
Yeah, I need you to give me some Joe math on that one.
Some Joe math.
Yeah, because I like just the $100 million guaranteed, $35 million a year. That's what I would do. But I'm curious about.
Yeah,
this.
we can do that. We're going to do that right after this. Joe's going to give us an update with some headlines, but first, let's pause 10 seconds for station ID on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. WBCFM at HD Boston 98.5 The Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines.
Nick DeGennaro, game-winning touchdown tonight for the Patriots. Thrown by who? Punter / quarterback Baron Morton. Yep. 24-21 was the final. Patriots defeated the Eagles tonight, and we can't wait for the preseason to be over on Thursday night when they play in Cleveland. And the Red Sox had another come-from-behind win. They were down 2-0 in the ninth inning. They tied the game. And then Wilyer Abreu sent everybody home with a single. They win 3-2 tonight. They look for the sweep tomorrow over at Fenway Park. Headlines brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your next drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Joe Murray. We'll have more of these Shaws and Star Market Patriots post-game show after this on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports on Patriots Radio Network.
Hey, it's Zoe, and if you've got mold or funky odors creeping around your home or office, don't mess around. Call my guys at Green Home Solutions.
And I've probably explained this a million times now, but you just pay those guys. So what is the right side, or, ask Bedard, like who's, earlier this week there was a report about cooler heads prevail. Who's the cooler head?
Christian Gonzalez.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got that down. So basically they're nowhere close. Is that where it is now?
I'm uncomfortable saying that. I don't know. I'm sure they could get close pretty quickly. Do you think that the New England Patriots offered him a deal north of whatever Witherspoon got in Seattle?
No, I think their offer was probably below what Witherspoon got.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you think that they offered him, Robert Kraft talking about they offered him, whatever, make him the highest paid Patriot of all time, cornerback of all time. Was that all before the Witherspoon deal?
That's what Kraft said in the media.
Okay. So if that's the case, so I don't mind the Patriots trying that. Okay. If it didn't work or you wanted to wait and they knew that deal was going to happen, and they were fine. But if they haven't offered the Witherspoon deal, then I have a problem. Now, I'm under the impression, because it's been so blatantly obvious that that's what it was going to take, that they've offered him that deal. If they haven't, then it's on the team. The team should have offered the Witherspoon deal or above that. And if they didn't, it's on them. Now, I'm just not sure they didn't offer that deal. Like, why not? Because you knew that's what it was going to take. Even before it happened, all the talk was about when this deal happens, they're going to reset the market, and that's going to be Christian Gonzalez's time. They were prepared. They should have been prepared.
So, okay, I agree. Explain to me this. Give him a guaranteed deal this year, or give him guaranteed money this year, and then go to the table again next year.
Yeah.
What's your
question?
No, how much do you give him is my question.
Oh, well, I don't know.
If it's a 1 year, you still get the fifth year option. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well, you'd find some benchmark or North Star that you could identify as
$35 million.
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever it would take in terms of a raise to get him through this year. I think, to most importantly, I would love for them to do this. By the way, I think this would be the best case scenario for the Patriots. And I'm not saying Christian Gonzalez isn't worth the money, but again, I don't have as much respect for the cornerback position. I would love for them to do this. Make him happy for this year. See what you can get out of him this year while you're Super Bowl ready, and then let him go out there and prove to you two things. One, he can stay healthy. Two, he can continue to play at the level he's been playing at. And if he does both of those things, you go back to the table next year, you say, hey, good for you. You earned this even more than you already had. And I think he's earned the extension right now. But now you're another year off your initial contract. You've earned it again. We go back to the table.
I think the holdup is how much more money he'd make this year, how much it goes up, and how much it goes up next year.
Yeah.
Like that like the Witherspoon deal goes up almost $60 million. I mean, the Pats don't do deals like that. They'll probably do it for Drake May, though.
They have to.
I just don't think they. I think they want to keep him,
and
like
Drake,
they said.
yes.
I don't know. They're just gonna. All right, here's $30 million guaranteed, and then we'll go to the table next year.
Well, I mean, that's better than
it's going from like $5 million to 30. Like they don't do deals like that.
Well, okay.
I mean, it's better than giving them $100 million guaranteed.
Yes, that's right. That's what
Right.
Witherspoon
If
got.
that's
I would do it. That's what I would do, because then.
But then he could also get hurt, and then you know what I mean. There's a lot of like he's got to get that money. Like I don't know.
Look,
I just feel like he's gonna have to.
I'm acknowledging they should have offered him the Witherspoon deal or just above it. That's what we all knew. That's what it was going to take. If you didn't do that, then you would know. Then you could bring back into play everything everyone else was saying. What Mike was saying yesterday. Why didn't you just trade him? I would ask that same question. If you weren't gonna, if you knew what the Witherspoon deal was going to be, You knew it was going to be the benchmark for what Gonzalez was going to get. If you were not willing to touch that number, you should have just traded him. I'm with you there. I'm under the impression that they were okay with touching that number. I still think it might be, Gonzalez looking for a little bit more or looking for something that the Patriots aren't totally comfortable giving him. The Patriots thinking they've been generous enough that they offered a deal that was fair to both sides, and now it's Gonzalez that has the problem, and that's why it hasn't gotten done. We did everything on our end. What's your problem? I feel like that's where they are, but I don't know. Chris is in Scottsdale. Hey, Chris.
Hey, guys. Hey, I agree. I agree with you 100%. Everything Mark just talked about, and then there's more. The two things can be true with this. It's the right thing to do to extend them because, first of all, the ownership doesn't want to pay this note to begin with. So this guy, he's worth every penny, just not to this team. Because Vrabel, I bet you anything, if you asked him, he would rather have 4 guys that could get to the quarterback. I want to take this guy, and I want to trade him I want to get a pick so I can get a guy like a Max. He would rather have a Max Crosby sitting there, scheme the back end, which is what he wants to do, but he doesn't have the horses to do it. But he's got one horse that can get him the one. And that's got to be a factor for this. It would be the right thing for this team to do to extend him and then trade him and get their edge right. What do you guys think?
Okay, that's a good point. We have to take a break. We're going to get to this. The interesting thing, and this is why I don't have the respect that some people do for the cornerback position. Edge rushers, pass rush, they don't go in and out. They don't go up and down. They're usually pretty consistent every year. A corner can be all pro, all everything, shut down one year, next year, average. And Christian Gonzalez is not some, league-altering player, this unicorn, this thing we've never seen before. He's a great player. But would you be surprised if through 5 weeks this year he was struggling or wasn't looking as good as he's looked in the back? Like, that's what that position is. I would love to know Mike Vrabel's real thoughts on this scenario. Is he pissed? Why haven't we gotten this done? Rex Ryan, 2009, Jets and Revis, 2010, whenever that was. Is he livid that they haven't figured this out yet and worked this out? Or is he part of the reason that they haven't figured this out yet, that they haven't worked this out yet?
It's interesting. Just quickly.
Yeah.
The Witherspoon contract went to 15 this year, 14 next year as far as cap hits. Goes up to 27 the next 2 years. So basically his cap hit would be $27 million, but he's still getting the $100 million guaranteed. Mm-hmm. So I know it's considered 30 and change a year, but the Pats can get creative with this.
Right.
So if it's about giving the money now to satisfy him now to get him on the field, they can still talk about an extension. So I think I agree with what you're saying, but I just I feel like he could still put himself at risk of not getting the $100 million.
I'm just saying that, everybody's, and for good reason, the crafts, it's always the craft. I'm not convinced the problem isn't either A, Christian Gonzalez and his people and his camp, or maybe it's Mike Vrabel. Maybe Vrabel is not.
Yeah, Vrabel doesn't play man. He plays his own.
Yeah, not the problem, but
scheme.
Yeah. Maybe
that's been the question all along. But to your point, if you felt that way, wouldn't you have already traded him?
Right. All right.
Would you even go to negotiate this deal if you didn't feel that way?
Well, maybe they thought, because of the team being in that Super Bowl window based on last year, you'd like to keep him around. Your contract's not up. Let's do a deal we're both comfortable with. And they thought maybe we could get to that point where we're both comfortable with a new deal, and that'd be okay. Maybe the Gonzalez camp was not willing, and they want this XYZ, no questions asked, and that put them at an impasse. 617-779-0985 if you want to get in a word. Mark Dondero, Joe Murray. It's the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports on Patriots Radio Network.
It's Colossal Lobster Roll season at the 99 Restaurant. Choose hot buttered or traditional with celery and mayo, both built to the hilt with chunks of 10.
transistor radio and a Schwinn Corvette paper route. Anyway, so I have very strong interest, but I also have I'm able to look at the agents have an organization that they belong to, and they publish for each other the offers made so that all agents are aware of what other agents are doing. There's no secrets. So, at any rate, Gonzalez, as you probably know, is in the fourth year of his contract. And in April of this year, the relevant words are option, extension, and renegotiation. And renegotiation has not appeared. That's when you refuse to show up. Each year of a player's contract is an option. It's completely separate from every other year. And in April of this year, the Patriots picked up the option for Gonzalez's next year. This year, he's being paid $4 million, more or less. Next year, he'll be paid $19 million. Witherspoon is being paid $10 this year and $20 next year. Gonzalez feels like in order to be equal with him, he's got to find the difference between his 4 and Witherspoon's 10. So he's getting wrapped up in that, which is distraction.
So there's Joe Math for you. Thank you, Gio,
literally just said that regarding.
Yeah.
I know he listens to sports radio.
I don't even know that reference.
And just so you know, the agent of Christian Gonzalez is the same agent for Devin Witherspoon.
Mm-hmm. That's been documented.
It's just.
Do you think it gets done? Do you think he's on the field in week 1?
I do.
I do too.
To the caller's point, though, the number for Gonzalez this year is, I think, $4 million. Like $4 million, and I know that next year it goes up $6 million, whatever it is. They don't have to do a deal right now. I just don't think he has to be on the field. Like last year, I thought he sat out those games maybe because of.
So what are you saying? He could have an injury and stay off the field?
I mean, I think he wants to get on the field, but at the same time, pay him. Listen, the Patriots, I'm sure there's some sort of holdup we don't know about. Maybe it's about adding money to this year, right? Maybe it's like when it's probably because of Drake May's contract. They're probably looking ahead to how they're going to be able to either front load or back load the deal. And to Gonzalez's point, he might not be able to get more money next year. And that seems to be the reported talking point, is he's looking at a 27 deal instead of a 26 deal. I know this is great radio, let me tell you. But maybe to the caller's point, maybe they give him some money this year, but it doesn't necessarily go up next year. But they can backload that thing. He's getting him $100 million. No matter how you look at it, I don't care how they chop it up. 5 years, 6 years, option years, restructure. He's getting $100 million.
As much disrespect as I have for the position, because I think you can win with B plus corners. If you can draft and you can get a bunch of B plus guys to run around, I don't think you need to shut down A plus top of the league corner. Certainly helps, but I don't think you need that. It'll be interesting. I mean, I just feel like with where the Patriots are in this window, you should be trying to keep him on the team for now.
I'm just bothered.
You got to keep him.
I'm bothered because they have yet to sign a first-round pick to an extension.
But part of the reason, Joe, they haven't done that is because they've all sucked.
Well, that's
so they didn't want to sign them to an extension.
I think some guys were good.
Who?
But, I mean, I could pull it up. It's just too late. And
it's too late. Don't do that now. You didn't even had the Celsius yet.
I know. But where I'm going with it is it's inexcusable for a team that hasn't signed a first-round pick extension. Oh, and then earlier when you asked Bedard about why they don't have depth, he brought up Bill Belichick and Gerard Mayo. I just thought that they're gone. So it's like my whole thing is like you can still add players. You can still draft better. I don't know. He wasn't there the last day of the draft, so maybe he could have been there for that to bring in some more depth pieces.
That
I
was
don't
my
know.
first thought. Well, we had 2 drafts since they've been gone.
I'm getting cranky now if you really want me to go there. But no, I'm just saying the depth. Don't blame Mayo and Belichick.
No, they're gone.
Sorry.
They're long gone. You've had 2 drafts. You're allowed to get players in the 3rd, 2nd, 5th, 4th round to add depth immediately. They don't have to be the best player. Like, what happened to Caden Wallace? Why isn't he on?
They cut him now.
Yeah, like why? That's the depth piece you need. 3rd round tackle or whatever it is. And now you draft Akis. We'll see in the 2nd round. What's he going to be? A depth
the
piece?
guy doesn't look good because he's literally. Listen, I think Akis is going to be fine because they're going to scheme. They're going to scheme,
and they're going to have guys around him that are productive.
Yeah, and he might not start, but they might say, "Hey, on 3rd down, don't care about the edge. Just hit that gap and go hit the quarterback."
You have to get. And I know I've said I don't blame the Patriots, and I don't, but at the end of the day, you got to get this done because they're too good. They have too much potential right now to not find a way to have Christian Gonzalez on the field. And if he gets hurt again, or if he's just not as good as you think he takes a step back, whatever that is, production-wise, okay, well then we'll reassess, and we'll evaluate later. But you need to have him on the field for this season because you were 1 game away from being a champion last season. And everybody's better. You got a number 1 receiver. Drake May's reportedly better. Your defense might be better. You added some pieces in the secondary with Kevin Byard and different things. You need to get him back on the field. And they've got to find a way to get that done, Joe.
Yeah, that list isn't great now that I'm looking back at Jimmy Collins. Remember they traded him? That's right.
They didn't give him they traded him and got him back, right? Is that what happened?
Dominic Easley. Malcolm Brown, remember him?
They weren't even players.
They had to forfeit their 2016 pick. Yeah.
What was that? Deflategate?
Yeah, and then 2017, they said, we don't need one.
Traded.
And then Sony Michel.
Nah.
Yeah. Isaiah Wynn.
That was a miss.
N'Keal Harry.
Miss.
Cole Strange.
There's nobody there worth extending. That was the problem.
No, I get you.
The last one was probably,
it was Dante Hightower.
But Hightower. See.
They didn't even extend Chandler Jones.
I know. And that was
I'll give that's a name. I got about that one.
There you go.
As a name. I only got one for you.
What year was he? He was 2012. So they extended Hightower from that draft.
Yeah.
But not Jones. And he had some issues too. Remember what happened though? He was naked in the driveway.
That's synthetic weed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. When we get back, we're gonna wrap things up. We're gonna we have something to discuss when we get back.
By the way, Joe Milton, big night tonight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As we're talking, I am talking about Tommy DeVito.
Cowboys.
He had 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Okay. Hey,
good. That's good.
Maybe think about moving Dak out of there. Joe Milton.
Well, they had to have a runway for Drake May last year, remember?
That's right.
It's like the runway for the kicker
Joe
this
Milton,
year.
Who gives a crap? All right. Let's get a headlines from Joe Murray right now.
Sports Hub headlines.
It was a tremendous preseason win for the Patriots, who trailed. And then
it's tremendous.
You saw Baron Moore.
fellow engineer Dennis Knudsen, and our guys here in Waltham, technical director Tom Morgan. It was great seeing him, and associate producer Kevin Majori. Also, the producer of the New England Patriots football, Jim Louth. We just want to also mention, Joe, this was our first official show, or at least mine, after the passing of Jeremy Conley. When we did this show the last time, we didn't know what was going on, and it hurt being in this situation. And as much as I cherish my interactions with Kevin Majori when he comes in to update us, when he did that earlier tonight, I was reminded of once again how much I miss Jeremy, not because of Kevin, but just Jeremy used to always come in with a comment, with something to say. You know, he always had some energy to him that I always looked forward to enjoying. For whatever reason, I couldn't even put my finger on it. But I loved when he would come in and explain what was going on. Like I said, I think on my show on Sunday a few days ago, it could go from, shooting the breeze and then he would talk business, and it was going back and forth. And every interaction I enjoyed. I'm devastated for his family, the station, and we're going to miss him. And obviously the production goes without saying, but just his presence as a person, we're going to miss everything. And I just wanted to give you the final word. You knew him a lot longer.
Yeah, Jeremy was an outstanding producer. He was he worked these games, Bruins games, etc. Was a great producer at the station. Started on our promotions team, worked his way up. Everybody was friends with Jeremy. Everybody worked with Jeremy. You mentioned tonight I pulled into the lot, and I like to park behind Jeremy because it sometimes would frustrate him that I would park behind him. And when I got in, I went, oh. So I had that little moment tonight. But, I went last week. Obviously, he wasn't with us here last week, and we found the news pretty much on, Sunday or Monday, next day. It was Friday, yeah. So I just wanted to mention this. Whenever a hockey game in particular, would go into overtime or whatever, he'd be frustrated because we want to go home, you know?
Yeah.
I thought it was fitting that last week's Patriots game ended 13-13 and the game just ended and we all just moved on. So, I like to, in sometimes uncomfortable situations, I love laughter.
Yeah.
I just thought it was fitting that the first preseason game ended in a tie. And we just went right to postgame. No overtime, no anything else. And I just thought it was fitting, knowing him.
Well said.
It was great. So we love Jeremy. We're thinking of his family, and every game this year we'll certainly remember Jeremy.
All right. Well said. Thank you for that, Joe. And thanks for listening. We can't wait for preseason game number 3 this Thursday night.
Woo!
Patriots at Browns.
Cleveland.
That's
yeah.
Right. So we're going to be back at it in less than a week, and then we're going to start getting ready for the real stuff, and that we're going to be super excited for that. So let me just mention before we let you go that Sacking Hunger is back. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Patriots, is teaming up again with Shaw's and Star Market to help sack hunger. For every sack the Pats record during the regular season, a $1,000 donation will be made by the Shaw's and Star Market Nourishing Neighbors Foundation. Up to $50,000 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Boston to help end hunger. And with that, for Joe Murray, I'm Mark Dondero. This has been the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show on the Safety Insurance 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
This has been the Shaw's and Star Market Patriots postgame show. Shaw's and Star Market. Make shopping or